Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo. Today we're reading Basics of Buddhism by Pat Allwright. And today's chapter is called The Oneness of Self and Environment. So it says here, there are no two lands, pure or impure in themselves. The difference lies solely in the good or evil of our minds. So, the destruction of our natural environment is of great concern, as the pollution of the land, sea, and air increases at an alarming rate. Few people would deny that this has been caused by humankind's greed and selfishness. Social problems, too, are on the increase: homelessness, unemployment, drug abuse, and the breakdown of the family, to name but a few. According to Buddhism, the environment reflects the people who inhabit it. In his writings, Nichiren Buddhism says that life is like the body and the environment like a shadow. When the body bends, the shadow bends also. We can see this relationship of body and shadow quite clearly in, for example, someone who is severely depressed. Such a person is likely to neglect his home and personal appearance. Others are mostly repelled by this, which reinforces that person's feelings of isolation, so the depression deepens. On the other hand, someone who is secure and generous creates a warm and attractive environment around them. Others are drawn to this and influenced by it, thereby widening the circle of warmth. It is much harder to see this relationship in terms of ourselves. If we are, say, unhappy at work, we may think the problem lies with the company. However, according to Buddhism, everything, including work, is the reflection of our inner lives. If we change ourselves, our circumstances will inevitably change also. Everything is perceived through the self and alters according to the individual's perception. Whether we enjoy our work or not has much more to do with the individual state of mind than the situation itself. Similarly, how we feel about the weather has much more to do with the state of our minds than whether the weather is blue or grey. Of course, the environment influences us as well, and most people feel better if it is a bright sunny day. However, if we are feeling good inside, we can appreciate the wind and the rain just as much as the sun. The effect of the environment on people is seen, for example, in inner cities. Here, problems such as violence and vandalism are recognized as being influenced by urban environments where people live in densely populated areas. The effect human beings have on their environment is demonstrated by problems such as pollution. However, again, most of us regard pollution as being caused by someone else. Furthermore, most people consider it is up to the government or large business concerns to cure the problems not only of pollution but of all society's ills. This is not necessarily because we don't care, but because we often feel powerless to change our environment, viewing it as we do as being created by other people. The principle of the oneness of self environment, eso funi, means that life, sho, and the environment, e, are inseparable. Funny means two but not two. This means that although we perceive things as separate from us, there is a dimension of our lives which is one with the universe. At the most fundamental level of life itself, there is no separation between ourselves and the environment. This fundamental level of life can be called the ultimate reality, defined by Nichiren Buddhism as Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo. The oneness of self and environment is further clarified by the doctrine of the three realms: the realm of the self, the realm of the living beings, and the realm of the environment. This classifies differences among individual living beings, their social and natural environment. So, the realm of the self. In the realm of the self, each individual life consists of five components: form, perception, conception, volition, and consciousness. Form is the physical aspect, male or female, tall or short, black or white, etc. Form also includes the five sense organs: ears, eyes, tongue, nose, and skin, through which we perceive the outer world. The other four components are mental aspects of individual life. Perception is the function of receiving information through the senses. This varies depending on both the quality of the information received and the awareness of the individual. Conception is the function of analyzing the received information and forming a coherent mental picture of it. Volition is the will to take action based on this information. Consciousness, which includes the judgment and wisdom, is the integrating function which unifies these thought processes. The five components are common to everyone, but no two individuals are exactly alike. Our special circumstances and personality are expressed through the five components. These are constantly changing. Our bodies change as we get older, and more of our cells are replaced every 7 years. Our thoughts are also constantly changing. The realm of the self is therefore a temporary combination of the five components. In his writings, Nichiren Buddhism explains the far-reaching implications of this realm of the self. Therefore, when the people's five sense organs are disordered, the four quarters of the earth, as well as the center, will be startled and shaken, and as signs of the consequent destruction of the land, mountains will collapse, grasses and trees wither, and rivers run dry. This is an incredible statement even today. However, we can see the reality of environmental destruction caused by humankind before our very eyes. So, the realm of living beings. Each individual is born into a social environment. The realm of living beings. This category accounts for cultural and hierarchical differences between social groups. A person is a product of his social environment and equally contributes and modifies his cultural or family group. The realm of society closely reflects the lives of the people living in it. The realm of living beings also pertains to other creatures. We tend to think that there is one large environment in which all life dwells. However, when we look more closely, we see that each living being, as well as each social group, inherits a unique environment. For instance, we don't come across whales living in the trees. Likewise, as yet, no human being is living at the bottom of the ocean. If he did, he would have to create a special environment. Within a single footstep, in fact, there are a myriad of different habitats occupied by insect life and microorganisms. Each species inherits their most suitable environment and adapts to it. Equally, each species modifies the environment to suit its own requirements. So, the realm of the natural environment. So, the third realm, that of the land, is where living beings dwell in their social groups. For thousands of years, human beings have seen the environment as separate and even hostile. We have sought to dominate and exploit the land, largely ignorant of our delicate symbolic relationships with it. As a result, far from constructing the perfect environment we sought to create, we have all but destroyed the habitat on which our lives depend. Many people are exerting tremendous efforts to reverse this trend and are creating a widespread awareness of the problems. The United Nations World Council on Environment and Development has called for sustainable development based on harmony between environmental protection and economic development. To achieve this, international cooperation and agreement is required. It also involves different fields of endeavor such as science, economy, commerce, agriculture, and manufacturing. The situation is extremely serious, and the efforts of concerned people who are actively involved in trying to remedy this, whether globally or locally, are of vital importance. If we truly understand the oneness of self and environment, we can see that everything depends on each one of us. As stated in the slogan of the 1992 UN Conference for Environmental Development, think globally, act locally. From the Buddhist perspective, the only lasting way to bring about change is for people themselves to change. As the above quotation says, there are no two lands, pure or impure, in themselves. The difference lies solely in the good or evil of our minds. Evil means self-centered and short-term actions based on greed, arrogance, fear, and aggression. Nichiren Buddhism teaches us that we possess Buddhahood, the enlightened life condition of the human being, and can therefore transform our negative tendencies into creative and valuable ones. The single most positive action we can make for our society and the land is to transform our own lives so that they are no longer dominated by anger, greed, or fear. When we manifest wisdom, generosity, and integrity, we naturally make more valuable choices. We call this transformation of the self-human revolution. Hence, the foreword to the novel entitled The Human Revolution says, "A great revolution of character in just a single individual will help achieve a change in the destiny of a nation and further will cause a change in the destiny of all humankind." Most of all, it is lack of respect for ourselves and our environment which causes the problems we are facing today. Often, we cannot foresee the long-term results of our actions. However, if we base our decisions on the utmost respect for all life, our actions will be wiser. The principle of the oneness of self and environment explains that everything is interconnected. Short-term profit, if detrimental to the environment, therefore rebounds on us, both individually and collectively. In the same way, actions which contribute to the well-being of other living beings and the environment will also benefit our lives. We are free to choose the path we follow, and the ability to follow the right one is innate within man. The question is how to develop the potential wisdom inherent in our life force so that it works for life and creativity in the universe. Even if a human being possesses the ability to love and trust, if the motivating force within him is weak, he is not apt to influence other human beings, let alone human life as a whole. On the other hand, if a person has a strong motivating force, but is beset by doubt, suspicion, and antagonism towards others, he is apt to destroy himself and perhaps humankind as a whole. When we have discovered how to employ our life force for the creation and furtherance of life on both the human and the cosmic levels, and when we have found out how to live in true harmony with the universe, the philosophy of the unity between subjective existence and objective environment will have become the great saving practical philosophy of humankind. So until next time, we will be talking about the middle way. Nam-myoho-Renge-Kyo.